Another thing that really irks me about conservatives is their apathy toward nature and refusal to listen to people in the sciences, if you know what I'm talking about. Dismissing them all as just being liberal propagandists, globalists, or whatever. It's all part of the WEF. Conspiracy. I mean, I agree that the WEF has bad agendas. I fully agree with that, but they don't listen to anything. They just listen to their own... They have their own fake experts that they prop up to listen to. People, you know what kinds of people I'm talking about. Because they don't want to listen to the other side. They don't want to listen to anything that says that that human beings have to change our habits. Because to them, the status quo is important. Because what we call conservative isn't really about traditional values. It's about just conserving the status quo. And that status quo is the previous infrastructure and industries, which, by the way, when those came to be, when the car was invented, you know who was against it? It was conservatives. Yeah, conservatives were against industrialization originally, and they were against cars. But now that that's the norm, those are the things that they defend. And they can't seem to comprehend the idea of going green. They think that means you're a liberal. Now, am I saying that I think the world is going to end in however many years it is? No, I don't believe that. And I don't think the scientists believe that either. That's hype. That's people trying to get votes. The real climate experts do not believe that. But I also don't believe that we have zero effect on our environment, zero effect on the global climate. Do you honestly expect me to believe that us putting all this stuff in the air isn't doing something? But God controls the climate. That's the argument I hear from conservatives, is God controls the climate. Well, yeah, God gave us this world, okay? God gave us dominion over this world. And they will say that to defend, they'll say that to defend just hoarding resources and taking it all, not taking into account that those are finite. No. The fact that we have dominion over this planet means whatever we do with it has consequences, right or wrong. It's not that the world will end, it's just that things will get much more difficult. And people are saying, oh, no, the climate is changing because of our sin. Or, things because the end times are coming. Yeah. That's not incompatible, okay? The fall of man and our pride and our hoarding of resources, that's not incompatible. Those two things are not incompatible. That's actually connected. The physical aspect of it is what, the stuff we're putting in the air. Yeah, of course it's spiritual, but there is a physical aspect to that. Those things are connected. And I don't understand why conservatives think those things are unrelated, that it's just about our sin. It is about our sin, but our sin results in us doing stupid things. And they'll say things like, you just worship the earth. You worship trees. You worship the earth. No, I worship God. Not man's societies and man's infrastructures, which the anti-environmentalists actually worship. They call people who are environmentalists earth worshippers to cover up for the fact that they worship the status quo and that they worship the infrastructures and the conveniences of modern society, not taking into account all of God's creation. Now, I'm not a vegan, but I think we should take care of all of creation. It should be maintained properly. My two biggest conservative heroes are, Theodore Roosevelt, who I know was kind of a progressive, but by today's standards, he would be a conservative. But he would not agree with the conservatives on environment issues, I can tell you that. My second biggest hero is J.R.R. Tolkien, because he was a Christian, a conservative, and he was very much pro-environment and industry, over industrialization, and the godlessness that such a society would bring. That's why he depicted the orcs in such a manner with the they were destroying everything. They were destroying all the nature because they wanted power over everyone and over everything. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, this guy's not a conservative. I don't even know what he is. I don't know if he's a liberal either. He's kind of nothing. He used to call himself a Marxist, but he no longer does. This guy is another one of my heroes, and while I don't agree with him on everything, I appreciate him for his respect for nature and the way he depicts it in such a beautiful manner in many of his movies. It's Hayao Miyazaki. He is a very well-known Japanese filmmaker. I've only seen 3 of his movies because many of his movies I will not watch because of the theological reasons. Japan is influenced by Shintoism, and that's actually... Wait, hold on. Let me go back to what I'm saying. Some of his movies are influenced by Shintoism and stuff, and so I have not seen those movies. But one of the reasons why Japan is so pro-nature is actually because of Shintoism. Because in Shintoism, they believe that everything has a god in it, or is a god. It's kind of confusing. It's everything has its own god. Be it a mountain, a tree, a rock, an animal, anything. Everything has its own god. And so they respect these gods. That's why they are so respectful of nature. Now, does every Japanese person believe that? No. But it's a cultural thing that they've carried with them. Now, it's false, but ironically, the way they treat nature is actually closer to how we're supposed to treat it. As if you were looking straight into the face of God upon seeing the things that God had made for you. Because they respect everything, they respect the stuff so much. Not saying worshiping nature is right, it's wrong, but we need to have respect for God and for his creation that he made. Because he made that. That's not just something. That's something he made for you. He made for me. He made for us. We should respect what he made for us. The movies I've seen are Porco Rosso, Nausicaa, and Castle in the Sky, in that order. Those are the only ones I've seen. The movie Nausicaa takes place in a post-nuclear war future. Well, they don't call it nuclear, but that's basically what it is. It takes place in a future when all of the world all of nature is basically destroyed, or it's been mutated into something horrible, something toxic. And in fact, the reason why is because it's trying to clean everything up in the long run, but the humans don't understand that yet. But the humans are just trying to destroy it again. They're trying to destroy all the toxic stuff, not realizing that it's actually cleaning everything up in the long run. But there aren't very many habitable places left except for the Valley of the Wind, where Nausicaa lives. It's called the Valley of the Wind because the wind blows through the valley and keeps all the toxic stuff out. Now, I don't want to get into the whole details because it's quite a long movie, or it's quite an interesting story. I've never read the manga because I've heard the manga is kind of longer and explores a little more themes than the movie had to was going through. And some of the themes in the manga, from what I've read, are not themes that I particularly am fond of. But anyway, back to what I was saying. One of the lessons of the movie is to avoid extreme black and white thinking. Because in the movie there are 2 factions, and both factions are wrong. One faction is trying to use a ancient weapon. It's like a giant. It looks like it's a bioengineered giant. They're trying to use that to destroy all the toxic jungle. But in the long run, that'll only make things worse. And the other faction is trying to destroy to stop those guys from doing that. But the problem is both sides, if they fight, they will end up destroying the valley where Nausicaa lives, which is one of the few places left where people can live and breathe. Yeah. Be careful, people. And another thing I'll hear people say is, we shouldn't care about this world because it's temporary. Jesus is coming back anyway, so we shouldn't care about the environment. Yes, the world as we know it is temporary and will pass away. But if you're saying Jesus is coming back anyway, so we shouldn't care about God's creation, well, I'm sorry. Because if you think we should do everything we can to make things worse, just to bring Jesus back, that sounds like a doomsday cult or a death cult. That doesn't sound like Christianity.